Let's talk about battling boredom as a homeschool mom. Hi, I am Rachel from 7 and All. I'm a second-generation homeschooler and mom to 3 young boys. Now, I've noticed that patience gets all the fanfare when we start talking about what homeschool moms need. People think you need buckets of patience to homeschool, but I think what we actually need is probably a deep capacity to be able to handle boredom. Let's talk about that. What a homeschool mom really needs is the capacity to be able to read a picture book for the 345th time, even though the plot is not nearly as thrilling as your 5-year-old seems to think it is. There's something that homeschool parents don't tend to talk a lot about, and it's the fact that one of our struggles is actually the boredom that can be a part of the teaching and learning process. Folks are going to act like you're doing something wrong if you're experiencing boredom in your homeschool, but I do not think that that's necessarily the case. Every homeschool parent is likely to experience boredom at some point. If you are yet again walking through the cat stage of teaching a child to read, or if you are with a child who's in the middle of the process of mastering those multiplication tables, you might find yourself a little bit bored and a little bit lacking in motivation to press on. There are just certain educational tasks that don't have the shimmer and shine that keeps our brains motivated. Repetition is very necessary with some learners and with certain skills. So we as teachers are going to need to get comfortable with the idea that sometimes we're just going to have to sit and continue to practice, even when we might much rather be moving on to the next, more interesting thing. My own brain is one that naturally detests boredom. I long to learn new and interesting things. That is what motivates me. But children typically need to review and practice previously learned information in order to master it. Because of that, my brain needs to get comfortable with the necessity for review and practice, even if that's not what I'm naturally wired to love. So let's talk about some ways that we as homeschool parents can handle the boredom a little bit better. Number 1, stretch yourself. Get comfortable with the idea that even though boredom is indeed uncomfortable, it's not going to kill you. And it doesn't even mean that there's something wrong with your homeschool or with the way you're doing things. Your child might just be one that needs a lot of practice to really master those multiplication tables. And you are the one who has the privilege of doing that practice and being there alongside them in this part of their journey. So learn to be okay with being bored sometimes, and I am preaching to the choir right here. Number 2, another tool in your toolbox for managing this is when you're creating your homeschool plans, plan something new for you to learn, something that's going to be new content for you. I am very motivated by learning new things. I also know a lot of things, so in the early years of homeschool, you might think that's pretty challenging. How am I going to teach my children stuff that I don't know yet? Use curriculum that incorporates subjects that are new and interesting to you to learn. I used preschool curriculum that included introductions to classic art and artists and classical music, and we've been learning about those in our early years of homeschool. Now, those are areas that I don't have a lot of education about. I had a very STEM-focused education myself, so classical composers and classical art, that's a new and interesting field that I can learn new things about as I'm teaching my kids, and that helps keep me motivated. New curriculum, new and shiny. You get to open up a book and you don't already know what it says, and you get to play a game that you've never played before. Guys, there's a reason why so many moms seem to collect multiple phonics curriculums. And it's not really just because, oh, that one curriculum didn't work. It's because sometimes you just need a new phonics game to play because you played the other one so many times with the other kid, and now you have a new kid to teach to read, and you just want to play a different game, even if it's ultimately kind of the same thing. It's just now it's using frogs and the other one used, I don't know, some other kind of animal. Sometimes you just need a little bit of variety to help you in the process of phonics. Can you tell phonics is not necessarily my favorite subject? Let's move on to grammar. I love grammar. So sometimes be honest with yourself. You want a new curriculum, not because the old one doesn't work, but because You just need that motivation of, let's play a new phonics game. Let's do a new learning activity. Let me read a new teacher's guide and learn a couple of different strategies on teaching these skills, because that will be interesting for me. So especially those of you who are homeschooling for the long haul, who have many children, give yourself permission to sometimes just get a new curriculum just simply because it's going to motivate you. Homeschool mom motivation is very important. I'm not telling you to be, curriculum pack rats or to spend money you don't have. I'm not telling you that by any means, but just to say, I understand. Sometimes you just want to do something different, just because it's different, just because you're a little bored with the same old thing. Next, ask for someone else to help with one of the tedious tasks. A load shared is a load halved. Being homeschoolers does not mean that every single learning task needs to necessarily fall on mom. If there is one repetitive task in your homeschool that you know your child is benefiting from, but you just really don't want to do it anymore, see if there's someone else who can help share that load. Maybe an older sibling can play the multiplication facts game with the younger sibling, and the older sibling gets an opportunity to review and refresh those multiplication facts. They get quality time with their sibling, and mom gets a little bit of a break from this task. Ask your spouse, ask your homeschool mom friend, ask your kids' grandparents if they are willing to take on one task that could help just give you a little bit of a break or lighten the load from a subject that you don't especially love, or a subject that your child does just need some extra work in. Involving other people in your child's education has many benefits. So I do encourage you to do this and to not even feel guilty about it. If you have people in your village who are willing to walk with your child in their educational journey, that means only good things. That is a good thing in every way. Now I want to hear from you. What do you do to keep the boredom at bay and to keep yourself motivated through these years, through the marathon journey of homeschool? Leave me some comments, and I'll see you next time in the next nerdy homeschool video. Bye!